here. We're playing Dear Esther, Landmark Edition. I don't know what. Oh. So you've got landmarks, I guess. See what we do. I don't know whether it's like everyone's gone to Rapture or gone home.
Dear Esther, I have lost track of how long I have been here and how many visits I have made overall. Certainly the landmarks are now so familiar to me that I have to remind myself to actually see the forms and shapes in front of me. I could stumble blind across these rocks, the edges of these precipices, without fear of missing my step and plummeting down to sea. Besides, I have always considered that if one is to fall, it is critical to keep one's eyes firmly open.
Somebody has definitely had a tiger. Still got a lot to do. Look a bit like people. I'm sure they're not. Maybe a button seems to zoom in. That was a wrong button. Let's go to the lighthouse. Let's go look at that. I mean, it looks pretty good. So everyone's gone to Rapture. It was a very disappointing playthrough with a story. Well, maybe not. That was a shame. Let's find the mountain. This way?
Donnelly reported the legend of the hermit, a holy man who sought solitude in its most pure form. Allegedly, he rode here from the mainland in a boat without a bottom, so all the creatures of the sea could rise at night to converse with him. How disappointed he must have been with their chatter. Perhaps now, when all that haunts the ocean is the rubbish dumped from the tankers, he'd find more peace.
Right, so he puts the torch
They
on
say
when
he
he
threw
gets
his arms
into
wide
a
in a
house
valley on
where
the
you
south
can
side,
pretty
and
much
the
see
cliff
everything.
opened
Going
up
into a
to
cave,
provide him shelter.
Keeps his torch off.
They say he died of fever 116 years later. The shepherds left gifts for him at the mouth of the cave, but Donnelly records they never claimed to have seen him. I have visited the cave and I have left my gifts, but like them, I appear to be an unworthy subject of his solitude.
It's terrible to tell you what to do. Bean can. can't jump, you can't run. I'm on some sort of coastal town or island. And I've now dropped to the beach. Seaweed! And I'll get back up there. Some steps.
At night, you can see the lights sometimes from a passing tanker or trawler. From up on the cliffs, they are mundane. But down here, they fugue into ambiguity. For instance, I cannot readily tell if they belong above or below the waves. The distinction now seems banal. Why not everything and all at once? There's nothing better to do here than indulge in contradictions whilst waiting for the fabric of life to unravel.
One of them games which
I have found the ship's manifest, crumpled and waterlogged under a stash of paint cans. It tells me that along with this present cargo, there was a large quantity of antacid yogurt bound for the European market. It must have washed out to sea. God knows there are no longer gulls or goats here to eat it.
Right, so we gotta go this way. Storytelling and like a sort of horror story used. I'm doing quite well in this water. Not down yet. Oh, there we go. Not an achievement for killing myself. Oh, I just wish there was a dash button. No, we're in this for long haul, people. No dash. Let's carry on. Up the steps we go. Yeah, I'm quite glad so far that I only paid £6.99 because I think I'm going to save £1, but still, I do think it is very much going to be like a Gone Home stroke Everyone's Gone to Rapture style game where there's not much gameplay to it, it's just walking about a very nicely rendered environment such as this. Another one that comes into that category is Firewatch, but at least there's a few more elements and things
to see. The mount is
Wow.
clearly the focal point of this landscape. It almost appears so well placed as to be artificial. I find myself easily slipping into the delusional state of ascribing purpose, deliberate motive to everything here. Was this island formed during the moment of impact? When we were torn loose from our moorings, and the seatbelts cut motorway lanes into our chests and shoulders, did it first break surface then?
Probably not.
When someone had died or was dying, or was so ill they gave up what little hope they could sacrifice, they cut parallel lines into the cliff, exposing the white chalk beneath. You could see them from the mainland or the fishing boats, and know to send aid or impose a cordon of protection, or wait a generation until whatever pestilence stalked the cliff path died along with its hosts. My lines are just for this: to keep any would-be rescuers at bay. The infection is not simply of the flesh. I quote directly: a motley lot with little to recommend them. I have now spent 3 days in their company. That is, I fear, enough for any man not born amongst them. Despite their tedious inclination to quote scripture, they seem to me the most God-forsaken of all the inhabitants of the Outer Isles. Indeed, in this case, the very gravity of that term, forsaken by God, seems to find its very apex. It appears to me that Donnelly, too, found those who wander this shoreline to be adrift from any chance of redemption. Did he include himself in that, I wonder?
To be going. Are there people watching? 2 of you. Oh, word. Yeah, it's so far very, very slow going. And there's no sort of indication of anywhere I need to go. That's
I met Paul. I made my own little pilgrimage. My Damascus, a small semi-detached on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. We drank coffee in his kitchen and tried to connect to one another. Although he knew I hadn't come in search of an apology, reason or retribution, he still spiraled in panic, thrown high and lucid by his own dented bonnet. Responsibility had made him old. Like us, he'd already passed beyond any conceivable boundary of life.
The cave. Use the cave first.
I would leave you presents outside your retreat in this interim space between cliff and beach. I would leave you loaves and fishes, but the fish stocks have been depleted and I've run out of bread. I would row you back to your homeland in a bottomless boat, but I fear we would...
That's narrating the thing sounds a little bit like Bill Bailey. Some sort of equation. A tree. Is it worth it? Probably not. What's that got? Last time. Into the edge. Such a slow game. No, it's just somebody else that joined us. Oh, I'm going to drown again. So I think I had to go the long way to get to that ship. Never mind. Anybody else on here play Everyone's Been to Rapture? Or Firewatch or Gone Home, one of them. It feels like it's going to be one of them games. I don't think there's going to be any action. It's sort of a moody storytelling experience. Oh, I really need a run button. Those joining us, well done for sticking with it for so long. I'm going to try and play through most of it now. See, I don't know why developers make such good scenery or a good setting just to tell a story.
He still maintains he wasn't drunk, but tired. I can't make the judgment or the distinction anymore. I was drunk when I landed here, and tired too. I walked up the cliff path in near darkness and camped in the bay where the trawler lies beached. It was only at dawn that I saw the bothy and decided to make my temporary lodgings there. I was expecting just the aerial and a transmitter stashed in a weatherproof box somewhere on the mount. It had an air of uneasy permanence to it. Like all the other buildings here, erosion seems to have evaded it completely.
Stonehenge type setup. There's nothing more to it. Let's follow the path up here. Keep pressing that zoom button in the hope it turns into a run button anytime soon. It's not going to. Yeah, I saw this in the store. I played the video, the trailer of it. Like I say, it looked brilliant visually. I still had no idea. I didn't read what it was about. I just downloaded it. Hope for the best. Oh, loading screen. Trophy.
Dear Esther, I have now driven the stretch of the M5 between Exeter and Bristol over 21 times. But although I have all the reports and all the witnesses, and have cross-referenced them within a millimetre using my Ordnance Survey maps, I simply cannot find the location. You'd think there would be marks to serve as some evidence. It's somewhere between the turn-off for Sanford and the welcome brake services. But although I can always see it in my rear-view mirror, I have as yet been unable to pull it short.
Then, or is it just a continuation? Let's go this way. More flashing lights. Talking modern day then, modern day setting. So just by the electricity and the fact that you just mentioned motorways. And it's somewhere in Britain. Easy for me to reference something. I'm going to call now that I'm a lighthouse keeper and I'm doing a really, really bad job. Can't climb. fight. Oh, some more graffiti.
There must be a hole in the bottom of the boat. How else could new hermits have arrived?
So I've walked all that way, and now I can't go any further. So I'm going to walk all the way back. It's going to be one of them games. Interlude music here.
I had kidney stones, and you visited me in the hospital. After the operation, when I was still half submerged in anesthetic, your outline and your speech both blurred. Now my stones have grown into an island and made their escape, and you have been rendered opaque by the car of a drunk.
So his missus has been killed by a drunk driver. I think.
When I first looked into the shaft, I swear I felt the stones in my stomach shift in recognition.
Should we do it? Should we come down here? Let's do it.
Come back.
Oh, no, don't come back. Yeah, I've got the achievement to sling myself down the wall. Shaft. You can't even kill yourself to get out of this game. Great.
I've begun to climb, away from the sea and towards the centre. It is a straight line to the summit, where the evening begins to coil around the aerial and squeeze the signals into early silence. The bothy squats against the mount to avoid the gaze of the aerial. I too will creep under the island like an animal and approach it from the northern shore.
Is there anybody still with me watching this? I don't think there will be. If you are, well done. If you're on Facebook, go to The Bearded Gamer and Co. Search for that. Be a little 8-bit figure of a guy with a beard and glasses.
The bothy was constructed
on Twitter,
originally in the early
we're at
1700s.
TBG and
By
Company.
then, shepherding had formalised into a career. The first habitual shepherd was a man called Jacobsen, from a lineage of migratory Scandinavians. He was not considered a man of breeding by the mainlanders. He came here every summer whilst building the bothy, hoping eventually that becoming a man of property would secure him a wife and a lineage. Donnelly records that it did not work. He caught some disease from his malcontented goats and died 2 years after completing it. There was no one to carve white lines into the cliff for him either.
But yeah, as I was saying, if you want to follow us on there, you can do. Facebook, Twitter, we'll be at the Bearded Gamer Show on Twitch, and also we are on Yahoo. I've only looked at that because apparently everybody's password has been picked, but we've used Yahoo for about 12 years. YouTube, with the Bearded Gamer and the Bearded Gamer and Co. on there as well.
Inventory. A trestle table we spread wallpaper on in our first home. A folding chair I laughed at you for bringing camping in the lakes. I was uncomfortable later and you laughed then. This diary, the bed with the broken springs. Once asleep you have to remember not to dream. A change of clothes, Donnelly's book stolen from Edinburgh Library on the way here. I will burn them all on the last morning and make an aerial of my own.
Kraken comes and consumes us all. This is just chapter 1, I'm sure. No, we can't go back now. We'll just keep going up. Can't climb over rocks, so there must be a predetermined path. Which isn't this way. Give us a clue, please. No. I just need to go back down again then. This is more stressful than enjoyable at the minute. Still no wrong button. Zoom. As I want to zoom, there's nothing really to see. Why am I going to be able to go there? Anyone in the chat room still? Just going to first throw myself down.
What to make of Donnelly, the laudanum and the syphilis? It is clearly not how he began, but I've been unable to discover if the former was a result of his visiting the island or the force that drove him here. For the syphilis, a drunk driver smashing his insides into a pulp as he stumbled these paths, I can only offer my empathy. We're all victims of our age. My disease is the internal combustion engine and the cheap fermentation of yeast. They found Jakobsen in early spring. The thaw had only just come. Even though he'd been dead nearly 7 months, his body had been frozen right down to the nerves and had not even begun to decompose. All around him small flowers were reaching for the weak sun. The goats had adjusted happily to life without a shepherd and were grazing freely about the valley. Donnelly reports they hurled the body in fear and disgust down the shaft, but I cannot corroborate this story.
You can't just throw yourself down there just to be brought back to the top. Well, it's looping. It's going to be giving me some achievements for doing fuck all, but still.
Climbing down to the caves, I slipped and fell and have injured my leg. I think the femur is broken. It is clearly infected. The skin has turned a bright, tight pink, and the pain is crashing in on waves, winter tides against my shoreline, drowning out the ache of my stones. I struggled back to the bothy to rest, but it has become clear that there is only one way this is likely to end. The medical supplies I looted from the trawler have suddenly found their purpose. They will keep me lucid for my final ascent.
I'm confused. All these people it's talking about have been killed on this island and
Donnelly did not pass through the caves. From here on in, his guidance, unreliable as it is gone from me. I understand now that it is between the two of us, and whatever correspondence can be drawn from the wet rocks.
Right. I think we'll call that part 1. And I think I'll rebroadcast part 2 a little bit later, because this is going to be a long, drawn-out process. Let's see if I can kill myself in this water. Nope. Never mind. Right, I'm going to stop here, and we'll pick it back up from here a little bit later. But thanks for joining me for part 1 of Dear Esther. It's going to be a long one. Right. See you later, folks. Thanks for watching. Apparently 3 of you are still in there. But subscribe to me if you can, and I'll see you later.